Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. On this episode of CD Junkie, I want to talk about kind of a forgotten period in the career of singer-songwriter Graham Parker. Now, Graham Parker, of course, there was the Graham Parker and the Rumor stuff, and that was really big. The things he put out on Mercury Records, build up this, Nick Lowe produced and the Rumor was this great band. Then they signed to Arista, and that was really kind of the commercial high point. A lot of people are familiar with Squeezing Out Sparks and the Up Escalator. In fact, so much excitement about Graham Parker and the Rumor at that time during those first two Arista albums that like even Bruce Springsteen appears on the Up Escalator. Just a lot of people love these bands, compared them to, early Joe Jackson, first couple albums, Elvis Costello, the angry young man thing that I never really got, but I could sort of hear slight similarities in the sound. And of course, bands started copying that sound as well. But Graham, Joe, Elvis, they were part of the original guard. Now, Graham and the Rumor split after the Up Escalator, and his next three albums I don't think have received enough credit. And that's because I think maybe people thought he went soft, and I don't think that at all. I mean, he was still an incredibly gifted and passionate songwriter. And let's start with the album Another Gray Area. Came out in 1982. Fantastic record. Now, the songs you might know off this album, Temporary Beauty, You Hit the Spot, great songs, but the whole album is full of great songs. Now it didn't have that primal, angry young man sound. No, it was more sophisticated, and it was very pop. Now, of course, his songwriting was influenced by all the great pop artists of, the 50s and 60s. So he was sort of settling into that. So there was some female backing vocals. In fact, some of Billy Joel's band plays on this, but it doesn't sound like Billy Joel. But really a strong record. Fantastic. Now, this has been out of print for a while, but the great thing about this particular album is ICONOCLASSIC RECORDS is releasing a digitally remastered and expanded version with 5 bonus tracks. So you should be able to get an expanded version of this real soon. But it's really worth your while if you love Graham's songwriting. Even with like albums like Mona Lisa's Sister, which was, a few years later, that was sort of brought him back into the commercial area. But this album, I think some people forget about it, and thank goodness Iconoclastic is going to be reissuing it, because it's going to put it out there and it's going to bring attention to the album. Now, the next album he put out was called The Real Macaw, and that came out in 1983. Same thing with this record. Very, gosh, I don't want to say commercial sellout or whatever, but no, he just wasn't doing that angry young man thing. He's sitting here saying, listen to my songs. I'm a singer. I'm a songwriter. So much passion. In fact, he had a song from the past called Passion is No Ordinary Word. And Graham Parker is no ordinary artist. Just a great singer-songwriter, full of vim, vigor, but also full of hope and passion, mixed in with that sort of slight little snarl in his voice, but really fantastic. Now, the most popular songs off this album is Life Gets Better and maybe You Can't Take Love for Granted. But again, it's a great collection of songs. It's produced by David Kirschenbaum, and Brinsley Schwartz from The Rumor plays on this album, as well as some other people. And it's just really a great collection of songs. You need to check out this stuff if you haven't heard it. I mean, I personally know friends who, stopped listening to him after the Up Escalator because these were too pop, or what's that all about? I mean, it's just great songwriting. The final album I'm going to talk about is from 1985, and it was by Graham Parker and The Shot, and it's called Steady Nerves. And it's got some great songs on it. In fact, this album has Break Them Down, Wake Up Next to You. Both of those got airplay. I mean, Break Them Down got a lot of airplay in Southern California on the KROQ radio station. Heard that all the time. Wake Up Next to You was kind of more of a MTV type video, but it was all fantastic and just one of our generation's great songwriters. But there's the songs there. Fantastic. These three albums are really, really wonderful. Like I said, Iconoclastic Records is doing a digitally remastered version of this album with 5 bonus tracks, and that'll be out anytime. Hopefully they do The Real Macaw and maybe Steady Nerves. I think a lot of people are familiar with his next series of albums like the Mona Lisa's Sister, and of course he did reunite with The Rumor, many years later. He's still putting out great records. He's still a great singer-songwriter. You really need to check out his whole catalog. Maybe, if you don't want to invest a couple $100s in all the albums, or, however much it's going to cost, you may want to get a best of. There's a couple great compilations out there, some single discs, some 2 CDs. But definitely check out Another Gray Area when that gets reissued very soon. Hey, I got an idea. Let's listen to a little music from these 3 albums right now, and I'll see you on the other side.
You hit the spots. Look out, look out, look out, look out. What you haven't got. You always worry about these tangled hours. We just can't unwind, won't interfere. Leave them behind. Ooh, baby, you just do it all. Even when this world makes my skin crawl. And you need temporary beauty. And hope to God that it doesn't rain. You need temporary beauty, even though it might be love in vain, 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 vain. The world is I know. Ooh, life gets better, yeah, whenever I'm in her arms. Just to know I'm not the average fella. I'm the one for her. Life stretches before I get so wider, making all the wrong connections blur. Get so tired of picking up bad affection, but you can't take love for granted. Underneath another skin, you can't take love for granted. Up behind another grin, can't you? Missionary's position is clear. Break them down, converting the savage veneer. I break them down and purge them of all of their sins. Break them down whilst making unstraight and jaguar skins. I break them down. Ooh, wake up next to you. I wanna wake up next to you.
That's it. I hope you enjoyed this little talk about sort of the overlooked period of Graham Parker's career in the early to mid 80s. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe to ring that bell for future notifications. And until the next time, remember me, I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.